Good afternoon, Randomaniacs. We are here with a Final Fantasy Randomizer Irongol Heavy Metal Championship Series match. All three of our racers today are tied at rank 25, so this race is a tiebreaker. The winner is going to move up to rank 23. Whoever comes in second will be stay ranked 25th, and whoever loses will fall to rank 26. With me in the booth today, I am Dr. Funkin, and with me in the booth today is Sunny.
How we doing, everybody? This is looking like it's going to be a pretty interesting game, just looking at the party compositions, huh?
Absolutely, and today there is a bit of a force in the party. Everyone is forced to take a red mage and a thief. While they can freely pick their other two party members, it looks like everyone has chosen a fighter and a black mage.
This looks like the 8-bit theater party.
It certainly does.
I don't know about anybody else, I've just started rereading that for the 18 millionth time.
I'm due for another run through of that myself. So Sunny, could you tell us about today's flags in this massive tiebreaker race?
Okay, so these flags have a few different things. We've got tri-state final bosses, just to lead off with how insane this is going to be. It might not be chaos, it could be a small selection of other, even worse bosses. We have a couple of items that are also tri-state. We got the floater and the canoe, I believe, that are tri-state, so they could be in the item pool, or they could not be in the item pool. We do still have the free bridge and the ship. English. The bridge and ship, they get them for free. They can go pretty much wherever they like. And speaking of going, alright. Unfortunately, I already closed,
Alright, looks like we've got level 1 Fast and Ice 2 in Black Magic.
Well, hey, this is the first time in a little bit I've seen Fast not sharing a slot with Temper.
Yeah, it's been a minute, and we've got Life and, I think, a Heal 2, both Red Mage learnable, so we're doing alright as far as early magic. I believe Life is actually going to have to wait until promotion to Red Wizard, but they will be able to learn it.
That's something else I forgot. We got Blurst equipment on.
That's right. All equipment can have up to a +5 bonus or up to a -5 penalty to its quality. So what you may be used to seeing as endgame equipment may be garbage.
Well, what we saw in that shop seemed nice. It looked like +3 silvers? That's pretty decent for the early game.
Absolutely. If we can find some early gold, that will be help carry our fighter deep into the seed.
So it doesn't look like they're running into anything too threatening just yet, which I mean, that's a blessing and a curse to an extent.
Yeah, it can be, though we've got Ankylos inside of Temple of Fiends, so that's a little rough right out the gate.
Yeah, let's not talk about that for just a second. Zeus +2, though, hanging out in that chest.
Yeah, that's great to have a little extra AoE on a party member who otherwise might not be doing anything right now. And that 6k and house is great. Having a save item is nice, and that 6k will help us get some of those silver swords.
If it's me, I'm going out and using that house right away, and maybe even going back to pick up a couple of them silvers.
The Jazz Raptor going straight at Garland, hitting him up with some Ice 2, throwing out the Zeus Gauntlet. And Garland smacks the Black Mage, takes him out. Round 2, we got a fight, we got another Zeus Gauntlet, and Garland goes down to the Zeus Gauntlet. And let's see, the King is giving us the Crystal, and Princess Sarah is giving us the Ruby.
If they've just given away the crown jewels.
Gosh darn it. Meanwhile, Cinema Bee making their way through the Temple of Fiends, grabbing their Zeus Gauntlet. Well, it looks like Darendries saw the magic and is choosing to re-roll. Or something else happened, because they're picking the same party.
It could be he wiped or had to reset and never saved.
Oh, that's always... At least that happened relatively early, so yeah, it's a loss of about 3 minutes, but that could easily be made up later in the run.
Also, I just saw some unrunnable Sphinxes from somewhere there on Jazz Raptor's side. He noped on out of that, but
Yeah, we've got shuffled all kinds of monsters, so who knows what we're gonna find where. And it looks like Provoca is actually on rack today.
oh yeah, it's the town entrance shovel, so we never know where we're actually going to go into.
No, we certainly don't.
That's kind of unfortunate, Provoca being on rack, because that means gotta wait to talk to Bicky.
Certainly do. And then we have Elfland actually being Melmond, or Melfland, as we affectionately referred to it last night when the same thing happened.
That's unfortunate. Personally, I'd rather have Melmond go ahead and be up there at Gaia or something. Nobody ever wants to be in Melmond.
We do find Temper at level 5 Black Magic. Not a terrible spot for it, and it isn't competing for anything.
There are certainly worse places for it to be.
Derendry's going ahead and picking up a Scimitar. Checking out the armor shop. Ooh, +2 steel armor is only 6k. That's pretty cheap and amazing armor for the fighter.
Now, out of curiosity, if we're just talking like nothing super special for weapons, for just the swords that a fighter or a thief could use, what do you really want to see in a shop?
I mean, those +3 silver swords are great. They're awesome for an early game fighter, though they don't help your thief so much. For a thief, what I'm looking for early in a seed like this is probably to fall over and put some XP on my other party members.
Hey, not every thief can tank the floor.
That's true. I would hope for something like a Scimitar with a good plus on it. Unfortunately, the Scimitar was vanilla, so...
And it looks like Matoya is trading a crystal for a bar of steel, or bar of adamant, as the case may be.
Absolutely. So that head us over toward the Dwarf Cave, most likely.
Yeah, and I'm kind of holding out hope for some lazy dwarves. I don't know why today, I just really don't want to see him visit those dwarves too many times.
Yeah, that makes sense. With NPC Guillotine on, it's entirely possible someone might make a mistake and accidentally murder the Hooray Dwarf.
Oh, that would be awful.
It would be a gosh darn tragedy. Derendry's finally going in to fight Garland. Punching with the thief, punching with the fighter. Not doing a whole lot, just let the spells take him out. Ooh, we got iguanas on the open sea.
I'm getting kind of scared here, because I haven't seen anything amazing coming out of basically anything. I think maybe the Sphinxes have stun touch, but that's about the size of it.
Yeah, the problem is seeing Sphinxes this early, they will hit the party real hard, and if they're unrunnable, it's gonna be a lot of resetting if you haven't found a lot of save items.
Yeah, I guess that's true enough. I didn't really take into account that Sphinxes are not necessarily something you want to run to early. I'm just thinking, you know, we're going to see Stone Touch eventually, we're going to see Death Touch, we're going to see Zap, Brack, Thunder, all that kind of good nonsense. I usually like to see that stuff early just to get out of the way.
Yeah, though right now, just like the fact that they are a Sphinx that early and they're unrunnable is a real problem. And Jazz Raptor picking up one of those silver swords for his fighter makes a lot of sense. That's going to be real powerful. Finding out that the thief cannot equip it.
It is unfortunate that the thief can't equip it, but the red mage can, if I'm not mistaken.
You are absolutely correct. The red mage could equip one, though it looks like we're going to stick with just casting on the red mage for now.
I mean, I don't blame him for any of that, but me personally...
We also have blue dragons on the open sea.
Well, if you're going to fight a blue dragon, that's a place for it.
Now let's see, the regular dwarf chests have a +5 iron armor. That is absolutely fantastic for your fighter at this level.
What is the difference in... Oh, hey, there's a cube for an adamant. Take that all day long.
Yep.
He killed the Hooray Dwarf! What did he do that for?
Probably forgot that NPC Guillotine was on. I can't imagine he did that on purpose.
Oh, this is a travesty. Disqualify that man.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to talk to the commissioner about that.
So, hey, we just saw some manticores with stop. So, that might be punishment enough.
Ooh, and some purple worms. There's a nasty set of encounters right outside the dwarf cave. This is clearly punishment for what happened to the Hooray Dwarf.
Just to answer a question I think you guys were going to ask a second ago before being interrupted, what is the difference with the iron armor with a +5 on it? If I am not mistaken, that is 2 extra points of absorb and 1 extra point of evade, although I may be a little sketchy on those numbers. It essentially, due to the evade and the extra absorb it's getting, it's like, I don't even know what it's like. It's probably much closer in style to like a steel armor or something much better, like close to the end game because of that +5.
Yeah, and that's +2 absorb and +1 evade per extra point. So in this case, it's going to be like +10 evade, or +10 absorb and +5 evade.
So huge.
Exactly. Thank you for that. Thank you for that information, Dark Moon. Houses are a little expensive at 1852. Cabins also a little pricier than you want to see at 261, but you buy them because the those unrunnable sphinxes are going to make sea travel super, super dangerous.
Yeah, certainly a little more dangerous than it usually would be. After a point, you'd end up with Sahagins and possibly even sharks just noping on out of fights, but I don't think those sphinxes are ever going to be too scared of you.
Not so you'd notice. Reese Wolf, we were talking about an iron armor that was +5 that the dwarves had in their chests. Saber Tees smacking the party around at about 150 damage a pop. Definitely not what you want to see this early. And right now we've got, just kind of wandering around. At this point, it's getting close to the point where I think we're going to have to go into Marsh Cave in order to make any more progression.
Hey, Team Always Marsh here. On a completely different subject, though, I have been informed that apparently our stream is mistitled.
That's alright. It looks like one of our chat folks is going to help us with that.
Hey, everybody's killing a Hooray Dwarf. What's going on here?
Everyone's forgetting about NPC Guillotine, or they're all monsters. Also, it looks like Cinema Bee has found a T-Rex. That blue stake is going to be worth an extreme amount of XP if he's able to take it down at this level.
That's kind of a big if. Who knows what this T-Rex might be running? It's running a big bite, apparently.
It's not that bad. It took 2 bites to take out a fighter, and at this level, that's actually fairly weak for a T-Rex. And so that's going to be big experience for those 3 party members, jumping right up to level 9. Unfortunately, because we've got Melflin, that means that they can't bring the fire back up from here. They'll have to go back up to Canaria for that.
And that's exactly why I'd rather see Melman somewhere else.
Definitely.
Basically anywhere else.
And this sandworm being very rude, taking out the thief.
Well, I mean, sandworm's gonna sandworm, right?
Very true.
Let's look at that Zeus Gauntlet's coming in pretty big handy.
Yeah, at this point in the game, any of the AoE items are going to be super useful. Especially since it gives the thief something to do other than stare at the dirt.
I mean, if it's me, I actually kind of want this thief to be alive since it gives an extra fast caster. It lets the black mage do something else
Yeah, with level 1 fast, you will probably want the thief to be a ninja at some point, but that also doesn't discount leaving the thief down for a bit just to focus some XP onto the rest of the party. And it looks like those red Ankylos are doing some serious damage to Jazz Raptor in the Marsh Cave.
If looks could kill. Oh, wait.
They certainly can. Down to 2 party members, moving the Zeus Gauntlet over to the fighter, which makes a lot of sense.
Apparently,
Ooh, a Moss Moon. Vanilla, but that's great considering how often I've seen it roll minus in these flags.
yeah, I'm certainly impressed by Vanilla Moss Moon, especially just hanging out there in Marsh.
Yep, nice early weapon that will eventually be an endgame weapon.
Now I'm curious, under Blurst weapon, or Blurst equipment flags, can there be more than one Moss Moon?
That doesn't have to do with the Blurst flags, that has to do with whether random treasures are on or not, and they are not today, so we'll only see the single.
Ah, alright. That's good to know.
Jazz Raptor running into some Sorias, which are actually going down relatively easily, and so that's also some very big experience for his 2 standing party members.
So it seems like maybe Marsh isn't as scary as it usually is, more just a preview of coming attractions.
So the nice thing is that the encounter table that rolled into Marsh, while the encounters there are out-leveled for where the party is, they're much smaller encounters than you normally run into in Marsh. So what's there hits hard, but it also is so much less that there's so many less of them that it's easier to get away from them. Or take them down now that you've got a Masa.
I mean, Masa is basically a giant steak knife, right?
For sure, especially if you run into more of those T-Rexes.
You know, I'm not sure what I'm hoping to find down there in the bottom of Marsh. There's so many amazing things that could be there that would get us out of the inner sea.
Personally, I'd like to see Canal over, say, the Canoe, because the Canoe opens up a whole lot more areas where the Canal would be, whereas the Canal gets us out of the inner sea. Plus, we've got that Ruby, which, you know, getting the Canal lets us get over to Titan's Tunnel and check the there and check Sarda as well.
Now, I kind of hope to see the Canoe, personally, just because I like seeing the canal-less seeds. I like seeing the ones where you get a canoe and you get a floater and you just fly everywhere.
That's also nice, though. If we get the Canal, the floater could be buried an awfully deep in, like, Ice Cave or the volcano.
You said it like it's a bad thing.
So Dark Moon is asking us what's up with Jazz Raptor's sprites. Jazz Raptor has altered his sprites, which is something that we in the Final Fantasy Randomizer community like to do, just to show off some creativity. It looks like he's set his sprites to be Dragon Ball Z themed.
I do believe that is correct. According to him, since these are a little hard to tell, we got Goku being the fighter, King Kai is a black mage, Trunks is a red mage, and Piccolo is the thief. And really, the only one I recognize at a glance is Piccolo.
Thank you. The only one I didn't recognize at a glance was Trunks.
Makes me wonder what his other 2 characters are, though.
It also makes me wonder what they're going to look like when they promote.
Well, that is a good question. Goku and Trunks, I imagine, might be Super Saiyan, but I can't imagine what they'd do for King Kai or Piccolo.
Maybe Piccolo gets his cape.
Cape and Turban, yeah, that'd be pretty cool, though I would think it'd be the other way around. He usually powers up when he ditches those things.
That's true, but he looks cooler with them.
Can't argue that. I mean, I could, but I definitely choose not to, I agree.
So far, nothing progression-wise in Marsh Cave, and we're running out of chests. Ah, there's our loose canal.
All right, so the canal, where it usually hides, just in the bowels of marsh, that's gonna let them go pretty much anywhere that they can't fly, right?
Yep, anywhere you can't fly, or, well, not quite, because there's also plenty of places that require a canoe to get to, but it definitely opens up a lot of progression at this point.
You ever stop to imagine what that must look like? You got one guy in the front leading 3 other guys carrying a canoe over their head?
So, according to the instruction manual for the game, it's actually a foldable canoe, so it actually folds down low enough to fit into a backpack.
Sure, I'll buy that. Where do they keep the oars?
I imagine they fold down too, but I didn't put too much thought into it.
I obviously have way too much time on my hands to be thinking about that kind of thing.
Dark Moon suggesting that the canoe actually has an outboard motor.
You know, given everything else, I'll believe that.
Reese Wolf saying that the backpack has to weigh several hundred pounds with all the junk the Light Warriors carry around. Like, look, hammer space is real.
Well, I mean, it's kind of real. The Light Warriors can only hold 4 weapons and 4 pieces of armor each.
True, though this is a game is a loving ripoff of D&D, so it's entirely possible they've got like a bag of holding to make it easy to carry all this junk.
That's just where they stuff their 99 heal pots, all the houses and cabins and everything else.
Precisely.
Oh, I like this particular encounter on Jazz Raptor's side there.
Yeah, when cockatrices aren't turning you to stone, they're a pretty easy encounter to deal with.
They're just little flying bags of experience, that's all.
Absolutely, and using some of the money he's found down there to pick up Temper, which on both of his casters, except that it is currently locked due to its position. I believe that's in the vanilla warp position, so it'll need to, in order to get Temper, promotion will have to happen.
I can only imagine where the tail might end up being today.
Yep, and those Manticores have Stun Touch, which is an awful annoyance.
Could be worse, could be Stone Touch.
Certainly could be. And Jazz going back up to Corneria to bring some party members back to life.
Because as we know, Melmond is a cesspit that deserves no one's pity.
Why do you think so many people just crash their airship into it repeatedly?
I mean, what can you do? Ruin it more?
Ever so slightly. Honestly, you're just bringing down the value of your airship by scuffing it up. Oh, speaking of experience, down on Cinema Bee's side, we've got a Big Eye Gershark encounter.
Gershark with mute.
That's like a free turn.
Only because I'm pretty sure Cinema B also has that Moss Moon. I think without it,
Yes, without that it could be very problematic. That moss is going to be great for how these encounters have been shuffled and people being able to actually progress here. And in Melmond, we have Gaia.
Well, I mean, there's worse places. If you find a bottle, at least Gaia's easy to get to.
Looks like we got Cure 2 and Harm 4 at level 7, as well as Lock 2, and I forgot what else at level 7. Black Magic. Ooh, Silver's Bracelets plus 5. Those are fantastic armor for your casters. And for your thief, for that matter.
Would that make them better than a vanilla gold bracer?
Yes, significantly. And our bottle is also for sale in, in Gaia, so we have Lazy Gaia.
Well, I mean, I was just saying, if you found the bottle, there you are, but, I mean, that's a little too convenient.
Absolutely. So we'll get to see right off the bat what the bottle turns into. The bottle turns into the key. Ooh, that's a really good item to get this early.
As long as the castles aren't also shuffled. They're not, are they?
Well, at the very least, Corneria Castle is where it belongs, so I do not believe the castles are shuffled.
Alright, that's good. So the key is more useful than I would otherwise think it was, because if, like, the Elfland Castle was off elsewhere, that'd be a little bit annoying.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure it's only towns that are shuffled. Jazz also about to turn in the ruby, so we'll get to see what Titan's Tunnel has for us, as well as Sarda, momentarily.
The Titan always reminds me of Star Fox Adventures somehow. Also, water's toxic.
Oh no, the pollution has gotten to the elementals.
See, that's the kind of encounter that gives me nightmares.
That's the kind of encounter that makes you wish you had gone outside to save after giving the ruby to the Titan.
When I was saying get the bad stuff out of the way early, that's the exact kind of encounter I was talking about. I'd rather see imps with toxic than waters with toxic. Waters are bad enough.
That's true, and I'm not sure how the shuffled encounters work, but if we run into those in Temple of Fiends Revisited... Oh, Titan's Tunnel has the canoe. Opal Shield -2, well, that's depressing, but there it is.
Well, it's not an Aegis Shield -5.
That's true.
It's just a plastic toboggan sprayed with opal paint.
At least it's a plastic toboggan as opposed to, like, cellophane.
This giant pack of wolves seems to have stun touch.
Yeah, that's certainly what it looks like. I'm surprised we didn't see that earlier. Then again, they didn't really have much of a chance to attack.
And Sarda's got the crown, so it almost seems like with the canoe, it's worth taking a trip back to the Inner Sea, at least docking near the Northwest Castle and checking out what the Keylog Dwarves has for us, as well as taking on Astos.
Yeah, that certainly seems like a reasonable thing to do. It also opens up Volcano, which I always endorse at least paying a visit to the armory.
But yeah, considering we're getting +5 extra XP per... +5% extra XP per key item we get, I would definitely be thinking about hitting up Astos while we're nearby. However, it looks like Jazz Raptor is going to check out the first floor of Earth first.
That's kind of a bold move. You don't see very much, and I believe this is,
Pays off, though, finding out the 3-eye grind tile.
I was about to say that that's what the Giants area, so, I mean, if you're gonna go grind, that's a good place.
Absolutely, that is the best grind tile in the game. And the eyes aren't hitting very hard, they just have poison touch. That's easy enough to deal with. You're gonna be able to get some serious party levels here.
Oh, poison touch, a minor annoyance at worst.
Exactly. I don't know how much I would take this tile, though, especially since we know that the thief can learn fast later. Because, I mean, if we can get... we wanted the thief to get those fast charges.
Yeah, it always makes me nervous to grind early with a fighter or a thief that I really especially want magic on.
Yeah, we haven't seen anything amazing in white magic, so I don't blame Jazz Raptor for taking this, and it looks like they moved the Thief up into the first slot to hopefully Dan it before it starts to gain too many levels.
And that's a fair enough move to make.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, it looks like Cinema B is making his way over to the Northwest Castle, so we'll be able to see what Astos has soon enough. Dark Moon pointing out that with how encounters are mixed up, getting some early levels is a really smart move, because you don't know what you're going to run into.
That's a -2 power bonk, it looked like, from Astos.
I mean, you don't get the power bonk for its absorb, you get the power bonk because it casts Saber on the person who uses it.
I mean, you know, that's not a super bad thing. I'd still probably go ahead and, once the knight's promoted, just equip it anyway, since you're going to have it on the knight anyway.
Oh yeah, there's no reason not to equip it. Oh, -5 flame armor, you hate to see it. Though that +5 giant sword might actually be worth equipping.
I was never real sure where the giant sword stood in terms of the power curve, but like if it's any kind of decent at +5, maybe just toss a Moss Moon over to like a Thief or a Red Mage and let the fighter use the giant sword.
In general, the giant sword's not very good, but with +5, if like the Thief could pick it up, I would put it on the Thief.
Hey, there's a bridge boss from Cinema B there.
Not surprising, gonna take that key in and check out what Keylock Dwarves has for us. So we're looking at a potential triple dip of the Dwarves today.
I'm kind of holding my breath for some TNT in here.
Yeah, not a whole lot of anything.
I'm slightly disappointed, but I just would have found it amusing that Narek, who wants TNT, is just kind of standing right there and he lost his keys.
Yeah, right? No, the Wizard Staff could be nice for carry. Oh, it looks like Cinema B is absolutely trying to murder the Hooray Dwarf in cold blood. That is rude.
Didn't look like the Hooray Dwarf was having any of it, though.
Right, Jazz Raptor down to just his fighter on this eye grind.
Don't know if I necessarily agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, the fighter's also up to level 21 at this point, so... And taking almost no damage from the eyes themselves, so as long as he can make it back out, this is gonna give him one, like, super-powered character right off the bat.
I mean, it's still that stance of, you know, I really don't like getting a overpowered fighter if I intend to promote, just because white magic is potential. I know knights can only have up to 3 levels of white magic, but we haven't necessarily seen Provoca or Elflin, so we don't know if level 2 or 3 is any kind of useful.
And because of that, I think it's a calculated gamble. We already know that black magic is going to be useful for the Thief, so it's not a huge deal if we miss out on some levels on the fighter. Sure, it would be nice if, say, like, Life 2 was there. We already know that, actually, you know what? We know that the Life is going to be available after promotion, so this might be not a move that I don't agree with either.
Yeah, I mean, if it pays out, it pays out. Can't argue with results, but we just don't know if it's going to pay out yet.
Pointing out that he'll be able to get life on the red mage. Yes, that's true, but the fighter is the one that's most likely to survive a combat, especially with a grind like this. So having life on the fighter is generally a bit more valuable than having it on just the red mage, in case the red mage gets knocked down.
In other news, apparently the Corneria Vaults are hoarding a Ribbon +1.
Oh, that's nice. A little bit of absorb on the Ribbon that usually doesn't have any.
So, we don't see a black belt on here, but I have heard that a ribbon plus an opal ring will give a black belt the equivalent to absorb to a level 33 black belt or so. Is that more or less accurate?
It's the first I'm hearing of it. I'm not 100% on how black belts and armor work. I'm used to vanilla, where you never equip them with anything.
I know that if you promote a black belt to a master, their MDef grows incredibly slowly.
Yeah,
But
the master
be offset.
has an MDef of 1, whereas the black belt has an MDef of 4 per level. So if you're planning on playing a black belt, you don't want to promote. As far as the armor is concerned, if you take a black belt to 43, and then you slap a ribbon and an opal bracelet and the power ring or pro ring on them, then that's an equivalent armor right there. If you don't have all those pieces to throw on it, the black belt is better unequipped than with anything.
Thank you, Dark Moon, for that information.
And this has been our sunny duckling food for thought. In any case, the Elfland Castle, their back shed there had a katana -1, so I guess that might be a happy ninja later?
Happy-ish. Like, you hate seeing a minus on any equipment that Ninja's gonna wear, but unless Vorpal gets a big plus, you're gonna be equipping that katana.
I would love to see a +5 Vorpal.
And it looks like Jazz Raptor is finally satisfied with his grind. Now going to check the actual treasure.
Now, based on what I've seen recently out of Earth, I don't disagree with dipping into Earth for, like, the first floor, just to see what's there. I've seen that be a gamble that a lot of people don't take, and then it bites them in the butt because their opponent did.
Yeah, and I mean, when you're here, it doesn't take too long to check these chests, and the fact that Jazz Raptor found that 3-eye tile to do a relatively quick grind, and considering it's got a loose floater in it, yeah, this is paying off huge. Jazz Raptor's just taken a commanding presence in this race.
And since everybody has their canoe, that means Jazz Raptor's probably going to be taken to the air really quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. He's not going to be checking any more of Earth Cave. It's time to go get into the air.
I think I'd probably still check out maybe one more room's worth of treasure in there before booking it, but at the same time, only one character alive, it's probably a good idea to get out there and at least save.
For sure. I mean, he did save after the grind, but yeah. I imagine he will have no trouble making it safely out of this cave.
And while we're watching Jazz Raptor, it looks like Cinnaby has found Crescent Lake and found the Oxy Ale from the old men, just sharing a drink with them.
He sure has. So now we can go back to Provoca Onrak and check out the Sea Shrine.
Oh, hey, level 6 nuke at Crescent Lake, so that's not good.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on how high your Black Mage ends up getting. Like, that's something that you'll get a decent number of casts of, not as many as you would hope. It's basically the last effective level.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where you just really kind of hope to see it in Elfland or Provoca instead.
Yeah, you'll take it wherever you can get it if you're gonna get spell charges of it, but you do hope to see it earlier.
Speaking of spell charges, now I'm kind of hoping for like level 2 or 3 Fade.
That would be real funny. Or Life 2, something just to really punish Jazz Raptor. I don't think even like spell charges are going to punish Jazz Raptor for this grind. Like, that fighter is going to one-shot most of this game.
So, speaking of Crescent Lake, turned out Crescent Lake was at Crescent Lake, so...
Very nice.
Insert traditional, is this even randoed?
The Sages had Oxy Ale, Dark Moon.
Just a bunch of old men sitting around having a drink.
Just a good time. Having a good old-fashioned barbecue in the park.
Oh, that would be a horrifying flag to have. Just Tyros and T-Rex hanging out with the Sages.
That would be hilarious. Ooh, looks like we have unrunnable Gurmaduces on Cinemabee's stream.
Well, as long as they're not whipping out anything too dangerous, I don't think I have too much trouble with that. I usually like Gurmaduces for grinding.
Yeah, it looks like they hit 6 hits for, or 7 hits for 21 damage with a crit on the Thief, so they're hitting like kittens today.
I don't know, you know, in D&D at least, kittens can totally wreck a level 1 party.
They can wreck a commoner, they're not going to wreck a level 1 party. Come on now.
Have you seen the stat block on a kitten? They get like 3 attacks that do 1d6 damage.
In which edition?
I'm pretty sure it's 3.5, it's like Claw Claw Bite.
I haven't played 3.5 in a long time.
Well, Jazzraptor's finally taken to the air with his airship. Fortunately finding that floater down there in Earth Cave. And gonna go visit Crescent Lake, find his Oxyale from the Sages, eventually. And discover that the shops are nothing super special.
Goes ahead and learns Nuke on his Black Mage. And checking it on the Red Mage, but it is currently locked out.
And we see the white magic is a bunch of hot garbage. Actually, I take that back. If not, Ruse is not usually hot garbage in my book, but at level 6 it most definitely is. So Sin would be doing exactly what I like to do when you got the canoe, and going to Volcano to check out that armory, one of the most loot-dense areas, as far as I know.
Yeah, and it's especially easy to get to since you don't increment the encounter table while you're stepping on those lava tiles. And Jazzraptor has found Provoca up at, I think it was Gaia, and taking on Vicky and the Pirates.
Yeah, this is Gaia Voca up here. I wonder what Lupa Lupa Land's gonna turn out to be.
Probably Elfland. I mean, at this point, it's what, a 50-50 shot that it's Elfland or that other town we haven't seen yet?
It looks like Vicky has taken up the ways of the cursed pirate and stolen a slab of some variety.
Yep. Can always head back over to Melfland and get that checked out, which, considering one of the 2 towns left is Lefane, wouldn't be a bad plan. Tents are only 13 gold. There's our nice, easy save item.
You know, I never quite understood why the older titles would insist on having an item to save. You got your Resident Evil, you got your Final Fantasy. You have this old side-scroller game called Zardian that had a save item. Also, Lit 3 at level 2, that's not bad.
No, not at all. I mean, yeah, that's just the way it was.
Looks like a bunch of garbage at level 2 white magic, so probably making the right choice and going ahead and grinding that fighter up.
Yeah, really only missing out on that level 1 life spell. So, and again, you can get that on the red mage, so not a huge loss. Oh, apparently the Manticores had Nuke that we missed out on, so those Manticores are a real jerk pack.
Wow, okay. Manticores with Nuke. And also Stun Touch, they also had Stun Touch, right?
I believe so, yeah. Dark Moon pointing out that in Provoca they had Silver Shields with +5, which would be a great step of extra defense on the fighter, but Jazzraptor ignoring them.
I mean, to be fair, I also tend to ignore shields, but, I mean, that's just me showing off my duckling side.
Yeah, every little bit of absorb helps. Jazz Raptor finally going over to Astos and turning in his crown to get his power bonk.
There's a Procate -4 in the Volcano Armory, it looks like. And also some Grey Worms with Blizzard.
Oh, awesome. Oh, Jazz Raptor does have a level 4 shield and hadn't equipped it yet. Okay. Trying to decide where to put it, and decide to stick with the Flame Shield for its resistances rather than go with the extra Absorb from the Silver Shield.
I'm not sure I'd blame him for that, because elemental attacks are kind of spoopy.
Yeah, I mean, Blizzard is one of the things that could really hamper this super-powered fighter at this point. Anyway, heading over to Cardia for all of the free treasure there.
You don't suppose the Charizards are... whoa, they're hoarding a black shirt +5.
That is going to be amazing for his Black Knight. And also a -1 Dragon Armor. Yeah, the -1 sucks, but the resistances are still going to make that worth it after promotion. That dragon says, "You're not afraid of me, I'm impressed," and is immediately slain.
Wait, what did these Charizards ever do to him?
Exist.
Oh, they had a seafood party platter, that's what they did.
Oh, yeah. Luckily, we've got a Zeus Gauntlet, and Lit 3 now.
Oh, meanwhile, over there, over here on our right, we got Elfland, finally. I didn't happen to see where Elfland was, but, I mean, we have it.
Considering Darandrees isn't in the air yet, I'm gonna have to say that this is on-rack.
Looks like the level 4 white magic is pretty much garbage. Level 4 black magic, Zap, and Ice 3.
And Lock.
Not bad.
Considering Lock 2 was level 7, picking up Lock there isn't necessarily a bad plan.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair enough. I usually kind of discount Lock 1 out of hand because Lock 2 exists, but I didn't happen to notice where Lock 2 was.
So it turns out that the only difference is that one of them is multi-target and the other one isn't. They reduce the effective hit of, or the effective dodge of an enemy the same amount. So when you're using it...
Fair enough.
So, as far as we're concerned, since we pretty much only use it on bosses, they're equally useful.
Did not know that, but at the same time, given that the alternate final boss flag may or may not be set, that's a Vorpal +4, by the way.
That is a Vorpal +4. That may be our endgame sword. At the very least, it'll go on a ninja.
With a Katana -1, Vorpal +4, I mean, yeah, definitely take that Vorpal.
Yeah, Professor Renderer saying that's better than the Vorpal from last night's seed, which I believe was -5, just like the worst a Vorpal could be.
And I will say it over and over again, it could always be worse.
Certainly could. Level 3 Warp is a real nice pickup for the Black Mage, as well as the Fire 3.
Quad X too. I see Quad X getting pretty popular.
Quad X is useful in general, simply because if an enemy has 300 or less health and doesn't resist the death element, oh, there's level 3 Fade in a White Mage locked spot.
Hate to see that.
Absolutely. But, you know, that's the risk you take by not taking a White Mage. Sometimes the great spells are locked to that class.
There was also Exit and Heal 3 there too, right? I mean, it's,
yeah, that spell level was stacked. Absolutely.
kind of unfortunate since the Red Mage only has 3 slots to divide among, like, 8 potential spells. Well,
Yeah.
fewer than 8, since there's White Mage locked ones, but you get my point.
Absolutely, yeah. But in this case, having one of the good ones locked makes it a little easier. And Pro Rings are at -3. You hate to see that, since it is the armor that you want on your characters due to its protection from the death element and how much absorb it gives, but you're gonna equip it anyway because it's a Pro Ring.
Oh, I just saw a defense sword and a tail from Darandrees.
Oh, loose tail in the waterfall cave.
Kinda feeling like waterfall is a good play to make, and a rod from the robot. So yeah, waterfall, good place to be, and it looks like Jazz Raptor might be going there next.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. You came here, you stopped at the town. There's no reason you wouldn't go to Waterfall, unless you were in go mode. And we still have a loot out there somewhere.
And a chime.
And a chime. I imagine we'll also see Jazz Raptor go promote once he gets out of Waterfall.
I mean, I can't see any reason why he wouldn't.
No, because you, again, like I said, since you got that level 1 fast, you want to get charges on that thief as soon as you can, and you don't want to risk not having charges on the thief. Ooh, we got Irongols, the the tournament championship. This championship is named after, showing up in the Waterfall Cave.
These Irongols are the heavyweight champion of the world, brother.
Actually, I think that's...
Sorry, I don't know what that was.
Sounded like you got possessed by the ghost of Hulk Hogan for a moment.
Yeah, that happens.
Oh hey, Cinema Bee is in Ice Cave, I missed that, and about to hit up the incentive chest.
It's too bad Cinema Bee didn't, found an herb there, but it's too bad he didn't, find Elflin before coming here. He'd just be able to grab that herb and go.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, Darren Dries is making his way through the randomized maze in Ordeals. Luckily, he's got warp, so when he makes a mistake, it's a quick fix.
It's the random maze to Ordeals.
How dare you?
I just caught sight of the defense sword because I missed it. It's apparently a +2 defense sword. Don't know if that makes it any kind of good beyond using it for ruse, but...
Yeah, considering we've got a vanilla masa and that plus, I think it was +4 Vorpal, probably not. Yeah, Vorpal was +4.
I don't know what to make of this encounter on Darendry's side. It's unrunnable, Gurnagas, and a wind, but I don't know how dangerous that actually is.
Yeah, it's not too bad. It's also not a particularly common encounter for the most part, so it's not a big deal if that one's unrunnable.
Well, at least we think it's not common. And hey, TNT for more deals.
So that might be our triple dip of the dwarves.
I mean, what could that TNT turn into? Chime, loot, Thor Hammer, Opal Cheerio.
Yep. And as expected, Jazz Rapper immediately goes and promotes. And yep, we've got a couple of Super Saiyans. Piccolo picks up his cape and turban.
What happened to King Kai? Did he just die?
I didn't see before he went into the menu. Yep, he got a halo. So King Kai, the Black Mage, promotes by dying.
If you strike me down, I will become more powerful than you can ever imagine.
And now we have the great equipment move over on Jazz Raptor's side.
That was like the worst King Kai ever, and I apologize for everyone who had to listen to that.
I've heard worse. I've done worse.
Okay. Okay, just as an FYI, looking at what was incentivized and what wasn't, I think between all of the players at this point, we have found all of the loose, so once they do their turn-ins, we should be in no mode.
Oh, excellent. Thank you for that.
Well, we do have the loot coming from the TNT, so the chime is still somewhere.
Probably the slab turn-in and what's going to end up being Vanilla Lefane.
I mean, have we seen the Thor Hammer and Cheerio yet?
Oh, it looks like Darendree's got the loot, so that's true. At this point, it's Cheerio and Thorhammer for the slab and the herb.
So where's the chime hanging out at?
Oh, right, yeah. I'm confused. So it's Opal for the herb, and Opal's at -2.
Oh, would that still make it better than a gold ring?
I don't think it would be better than a vanilla gold ring.
One of these days I'm going to look up all the stats of the equipment and figure out what the heck I'm actually talking about.
I'm sorry, I was muted on stream. I think it's actually slightly better still than a gold, as long as the gold doesn't have any bonuses. If the gold has bonuses, then it's not better.
Yeah, we got a Thor Hammer -1 for the slab, so where the heck is that chime?
Yeah, has anyone turned in the TNT yet? Because if not, that would be it.
The TNT became the loot.
So yeah, it looks like we still have a loose chime then. We're not actually found all the loose.
So, nobody has, we're approaching the 1 hour mark, and nobody's lit an orb yet. But I think we can probably pretty definitively make an assumption that Jazz Raptor might be a little bit ahead since he's got the airship already.
And he's had the airship for a significant amount of time compared to literally everyone else who still doesn't have it. That early Earth, that early play into the first floor of Earth really paying out for Jazz Raptor.
And that is exactly what I was talking about. One person makes the gamble that there's going to be something on that top floor of Earth, other people don't, and the one person's rewarded.
Yeah, and was rewarded not just with that floater, but also with an incredible grind tile to get a superpowered fighter right off the bat. Jazz Raptor, having Warp, going to be able to benefit from only having to do one loop of the Ice Cave.
You know, I never played the vanilla game. What level is Warp at normally?
Warp is normally in Melmond at level 5, and it is locked to a promoted Black Wizard.
Okay, so you definitely wouldn't be able to do the warp trick in Ice Cave unless you just wanted to go through for giggles.
Speaking of Ice Cave, I think Jazz Raptor got the key item out of there and then just noped out, despite not knowing where all of the required items are.
Yeah, that is definitely what I saw him do, and potentially Darendree's doing the exact same thing.
Well, Darendree still hasn't found a slab yet, so I imagine he's not going to make that, or the floater, so as far as he knows, there's still loose items out there.
Well, he would be right, just not what he's looking for necessarily.
Definitely. Yeah, we know that move of noping out of ice shouldn't hurt Jazz Raptor, due to the fact that we know there's nothing else in there, but it may hurt him if he ends up coming back here later to check it, and then there's nothing there.
To be fair, I think there was some interesting equipment, but nothing required for progression.
Exactly.
But remind me, where was that black shirt +5 in the, somewhere in the Corneria vaults, or was that, am I mistaken?
The black shirt +5 was in the Cardia lock chest, yeah. Or sorry, the Cardia Isles, not in the...
the Charizards, gotcha.
Capital. Yep.
I'm gonna forever call them Charizards, I don't care what anybody says.
Thanks to Dark Moon for taking wonderful notes for us in the broadcast channel on Discord. Speaking of Discord, if this looks entertaining to you and you'd like to learn more about how to play, you should join the Final Fantasy I Randomizer Discord. We'll be happy to answer your questions. There's lots of great resources. It's a wonderful time.
Yeah, when even people like me can sit here and commentate relatively competently and not even play the game, you know you can learn a lot of good things.
Jazz Raptor making his way through ordeals, looking to get his TNT.
Hey, Darren found some of those kittens I was talking about.
Oh, the Gurmadusas? Yeah.
No, the tigers.
Oh, yeah, those are rude.
At least Darren has exit to get out of that ice gate relatively easily.
Yep, completely. So, not that it mattered, not that it saves too much time, considering he already used warp to check the other stuff, but every little bit helps, especially when you still haven't found your floater.
And Cinnabee's just running into these Irongols left, right, and center.
Which isn't too bad, considering it didn't look like they were hitting too hard and they're worth plenty of XP.
So he'll pick up the last of the tails and the rods from down here in the waterfall, pick up that defense sword for its ability to cast Ruse, because we already have so many better swords.
Yep, absolutely.
I think that just in terms of everything, I think Jazz Raptors maybe got about 5-minute lead.
I think it's going to be a lot more than that, because remember, Jazz Raptor's still our only person in the air, and has been in the air for like 20-30 minutes now.
Yeah, I'm just trying to be conservative, because I've seen these gaps close in a big hurry.
Jazz Raptor, on top of like having all of that, also has that like that low 30s fighter who is one-shotting everything. So Jazz Raptor's encounters are going so much faster than everyone else's.
That's true too. Didn't necessarily take the promotion into consideration there. Either way, I think it's about time that Jazz Raptor just goes ahead and starts doing fiends, because kind of out of other options.
Looks like that's what Jazz Raptor's going to do, and it looks like he's starting with Earth. At least he's doing a thought, trying to figure out where that where that chime could be. Making sure he's done all his turn-ins.
I mean, it's never a bad idea to check your notes every now and again, but if you're standing right outside of Earth Cave, you just may as well just go into Earth Cave and get it done.
Yep, for sure.
I also think there's one more room on the top floor of Earth that he didn't check that might have something.
I think he checked all three.
I didn't think he checked the lower right one.
I checked that before checking the lower left one.
Oh, okay. I blinked and missed it. So I don't think there's any possible way we're gonna see a boss down here in Earth Cave.
Rumor has it there are two.
Two?
That's what I've
who you
heard.
been listening to?
Look, I've been told there's both a vampire and a lich in this cave.
You must be crazy. They are just leftover Halloween decorations that somebody stuffed in here for storage. We all know that liches and vampires do not exist. Now, whiz vampires, those exist. Also, hey, a +4 dragon sword. Seems appropriate for Dragon Ball Z sprites.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's still not going to be as good as our +4 Vorpal or just our Masa.
I mean, it's just if you want to be thematically appropriate. Is it me, or is that fighter changing all kinds of colors?
Yeah, in order to stop that from happening, when Jazz Raptor generates his ROM, he would have to check the box in under Fun% that says to use the third battle palette.
And here, I thought Goku was just doing his impression of Mega Man getting ready to fire his Mega Buster.
I mean, that could be too. Meanwhile, Darendrees is our first runner to go into the Sea Shrine.
Ooh, that's exciting. I always like seeing the inside of Sea Shrine as long as I'm not the one running it.
And at 1 hour, 5 minutes, and 22 seconds, Cinema B is fighting his bridge boss. Significantly more deadly a boss than Lich.
There you go again, spouting off things that don't exist. I swear, every time his fighter changes color and makes it look like he's stoned, it freaks me out just a little bit.
Yeah, I absolutely a few times have thought he ran into something with Stone Touch.
I'm just not sure where to keep my eyes at this point. Everything's all new and exciting.
Yeah, I mean, Cinema B is checking out Gaia, which we've already seen. Darendree's finding a Vanilla Sun Sword over in the Sea Shrine. Meanwhile, Jazz Raptor still killing bats.
Vanilla taking on all new meaning when you're talking about burst weapons.
It certainly does. Yeah, in this case, I meant vanilla in that it does not have a plus or minus on it, as opposed to it's in its vanilla location.
The unrunnable lobsters hanging out in Earth Cave of all places. Also, Death and Pestilence.
And Jazz Raptor running into a vampire that I was just told doesn't exist.
I know, it's Count Chocula. He's only here for a limited time.
Oh, an X-Cal +4. We may actually want to put that on the fighter instead of the Vanilla Masa.
Yeah, I'm not real sure what to make of that.
Neither is Jazz Raptor, hence he's checking his stats. And decides to keep the X-Cal there and move the Masa down to the Red Mage.
So there's certainly worse places it could go. Could go on the Black Mage.
Yeah, Count Chocula there holding out a massive, massive weapon for our fighter.
Hey, Count Chocula keeps some really nice things in his closet. It's really sad that people don't check it more often.
Crabcake saying that it's probably better than a Masa Zero for literally everything but chaos. So thank you to Crabcakes for that insight. And there's our loose chime in Earth. Earth was the play the whole time. Jazz Raptor's in go mode. And doesn't even bother checking the rest of the chests in there. Just starts running through.
I mean, really, why would he at this point? The only possible things he could possibly find are ribbons, maybe some dragon armor.
He's already got the dragon armor.
Oh, does he? I knew he had the dragon sword. I didn't know he had the dragon armor.
Somewhat, yeah, the dragon armor -1 was in the Cardia Isles.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's a good place for it. Cinnamon Bee found his floater. Didn't even notice he was also in Earth Cave.
Yep. So Cinnamon Bee will likely be our second, our second runner in the air. Now, if you're an hour and 8 minutes into this seed and you just found a floater loose in the top floor of Earth Cave, how behind do you feel?
If it's me, I'm thinking, oh crap, somebody dipped this at least once.
Yeah, someone big-brained this. And there was a lich for a couple of seconds. It even took 2 actions from the party to take it out.
I told you, it's just a Halloween decoration. Those things are really resilient. They gotta make them fireproof these days, you know.
That explains why it survived a nuke.
Well, there you go. Clearly you've never played Fallout and seen all the Halloween decorations that hang out there.
And Jazzraptor immediately going into Volcano, completely go-moding it, making a beeline towards Carrie.
I can't blame him in the slightest for that.
No, he's got to
like-
feel perfectly safe with that massively leveled fighter. He's got very good spells at this point. He's just got to get this done.
I mean, Jazzraptor's got to be feeling like he's on the other side of that floater equation. He knows he dipped it early. What are the odds somebody else did?
Yeah, Jazzraptor has just been making right decision after right decision when it comes to routing this seed. He hasn't unnecessarily full cleared a single dungeon. He even orphaned the entire bottom of Ice Cave, and that paid off.
I don't know if I call that a right decision or just really good gambling sense.
Hey, if it pays off, it was the right decision.
Here we see a second box of Count Chocula. Actually, Count Chocula has damage poison. So,
yeah, see, I told you
turns out he
vampires
actually
were
is a boss.
real.
Look out. Vampires are real and they are bosses. What the heck?
And you tried to tell me that was just an unfounded rumor.
Actually, that makes future encounters really scary. You get those,
Yeah, when you get
Whiz-bang
multi-packs of
encounters.
them, multi-packs casting damage poison, yeah, that is going to be potentially brutal if we run into those, say, in Temple of Fiends Revisited.
Suddenly, like, if Jazzraptor had that information, maybe he might go for a few green chests to hope to find some ribbons.
Yep.
So suddenly, I'm thinking maybe Jazzraptor might get caught up on the hill that is Topher.
Might not. That fighter is still an absolute force to be reckoned with.
Oh, absolutely. Fighter's gonna carry him a good long time. It's just, probably gonna wipe at least once. I would put money on that.
And it looks like instead of backing out with that floater to go turn it in, Cinema Bee is going to continue doing Earth, which we know is going to be a great decision because that's going to lead Cinema Bee to his Chime and his Go mode.
And it also falls into my logic on doing things like Earth. Like, if you're already here and you're this far in, there's no reason not to, because if you just leave to go get your floater and have to come back, I mean, you'd have to make up all that travel time inside the dungeon anyhow.
Yep. Apparently we blinked and missed Carrie.
I think all Carrie did was maybe snipe off the red mage.
Looks that way, yeah.
Now, is it my imagination, or does Carrie just have this thing against healers? What we definitely blinked and missed was Kraken.
Did Jazzraptor fight Kraken yet?
No,
did
Derringers did.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Jazzraptor did, or Derringers doing the early C play, which unfortunately did not pay off. There was nothing loose there. but did take out Kraken. Carrie apparently did her best impression of Cell and sniped Trunks.
Doggone these thematically appropriate things. Unrunnable Mage Fighter pack there, so yay or boo? I'm not super sure.
I mean, you'd hope to see 2 fighters in it just for the extra XP, but it can be a very high XP fight. So it's good stuff for the rest of your party, especially since that thief is still only level 19. And you're coming up on a required war mech.
Thief? I don't see a thief here. Matter of fact, I don't see anything. I don't see anything in that second slot.
Piccolo.
No, if it's a ninja, you just don't see it. Also, I think that Derendries went back to check out TFC and got a ribbon for his trouble.
Wow, TFC, bringing the value. Not the value you want, but it's still value. Also, he found an Aegis in there, which is +2, so a really, really good shield. Once he finds his floater and can promote, of course.
Well, I mean, double dipping Sea Shrine. It's the loot you deserve, not the loot you need.
Yeah. Oh, Jazz Raptor going for the greed chest in Sky.
I don't disagree with that.
Nope,
They're just kind of right there.
That's the first routing mistake he's made that didn't pay off.
I mean, do you really call it a mistake, though?
I didn't mean to call it a mistake. It's the first routing choice he's made that didn't pay off.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. We aren't going to need no Bless RNGs today. We've got a special flag set.
Required war mech. Oh, this is a rough Bridge of Destiny. We got Grey Imps.
So where does War Mech like to hang out? Just kind of right there, apparently.
Yep, right in front of Tiamat.
So maybe put in some Bless RNGs and see if that doesn't result in some nuclears.
Alright, throwing fast out on the, let's see, bam! Red Mage gets taken out right away. Before it can even fast up the fighter. Throwing out an Inferno. This is a rude war mech.
Yeah, this one's just a tiny bit scary.
Yep. Only 162 damage to that fighter, though, and nuclear, so the fighter is going to be the only one left to take on Tiamat.
Oh, darn, and the fighter doesn't have any life charges, does it?
Nope. And Jazz Raptor resets out.
Suddenly, the grind on the fighter coming back to bite him just a little bit. Doesn't have any of that level 1 white magic.
Pyrelight saying that the fighter ended up getting knocked out. I didn't see that due to the hitching of the stream. So unfortunately, if the whole party was... Oh, Warmech hit him for 379 damage. Yeah, that'll hurt.
Yeah, that'll leave a mark.
Yep, yeah, Robot Chicken is punching real hard today. And if Jazz Raptor takes too many wipes on this, I imagine he'll go back to that third eye and power up the party a little bit. I don't expect he will, though. I imagine that now that he's a little more prepared for it, he'll just hope for better luck.
So you might go back to the, let's see, what's it called? The Hypersonic Rhine Chamber.
The Hyperbaric Time Chamber?
The Hyperbolemic Crime Chamber.
The good news, if there is good news to be found out of that Warmech, is that Cremate and that Nuclear are not going to be in Temple of Fiends Revisited. Ooh, look at that
wasn't
unrunnable sorcerers.
That wasn't Cremate, that was Inferno.
Either way.
But yeah, that's 1 nuclear out of, what, 4 that can't be on the Fiends?
I don't know if it's 3 or 4. It's a bunch, though.
It's like 3 nukes and 4 nuclears, I think.
That may be the case.
Plus Inferno, so can't have that, but we can still have Twister, Swirl, all kinds of other non-elemental bad news.
Definitely. Woof. Those saber teas are still rude.
I told you, kittens are dangerous.
Swapping the Masa in place of the +4 X-Cal this time.
Yeah, I don't think I disagree with that too much. Also, Derendry's checking us in new territory for us, the key-locked chests in Temple of Fiends. We know there's nothing amazing in there. As a matter of fact, there's some chump change, and that's about the size of it.
Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like Derendry's is going to be last locationing Earth at this point.
And that's... like, that's one of those things. You see it once, and then sometimes you just change your entire outlook. Also, a pack of 5 vampires with poison.
Oh, and it looks like Jazzraptor never went to learn magic on his thief, so his thief does not currently have fast. But we're thrown out in Viz 2 after seeing how hard Warmech was hitting. We do get fast off on the Knight. Knight gets a defense 2 cast out. And Warmech decides to blit the Black Mage. Now we get fast out on the Ninja as well.
To be perfectly fair, this is still thematically appropriate. King Kai has not had any good luck with the androids.
Accurate. And we got plenty of defense stacks, plenty of invis stacks out. Might be about time to start swinging with that fighter. Nope. Still using items.
I mean, the fighters used the defense sword a couple times, so I think it's pretty much evasion capped at this point.
Yep, so now we're going for a power bonk to try and get enough strength to take out this Warmech nice and fast. $364 damage from that thief. 10 hits for 611 from the fighter.
This right here is preview of coming attractions. It's not the dungeon boss you have to worry about, it's the monsters before the dungeon boss.
Yep. And Warmech goes down. The fighter hits level 39, level 24 for the Red Mage.
You think Jazzraptor maybe has, going back, getting some of that magic on his ninja and knight at this point?
It's definitely something to think about, especially since Fast is level 1.
Also life.
Also life.
Life, which his Red Mage cannot have at this point because he filled up on everything else.
Oh, yeah, if he didn't pick up life on the Red Mage, then he should definitely pick it up on the fighter.
While Jazzraptor is doing a dance with Tiamat, we have Derendry in Earth Cave finally going to pick up his floater, and we have Cinema Bee wandering around in Volcano.
Meanwhile, Tiamat casting Fast on itself to do 10 hits, taking out the Red Mage. But the fighter swings back and takes out Tiamat. That is the third orb lit for Jazzraptor. Nothing left but to go down into the sea and take on Kraken.
And we also have Cinema Bee saying, "What's Kraken to carry?"
Yep, Cinema Bee also in go mode, probably just going to power through at this point. Ooh, Carrie was pretty absorb heavy. 3 hits for 3 damage with that ninja, and not a whole lot of damage from the fighter either.
Yeah, we actually finally get to have a look at Carrie since we kind of blinked and missed her the first time.
Yep, Carrie once again blitting a Red Mage just like she did to Jazzraptor.
Every time, Carrie just loves sniping off the healers.
But the Black Mage able to take her out with a well-placed nuke.
So our current orb standings is Jazz Raptor with 3 orbs, Darren Reese with 1 orb, but it's the 1 orb Jazz Raptor hasn't done, and Cinema B in the middle with 2 orbs.
Right you are, and Cinema B flying around now, gonna do his slab turn-in, from the look of it, despite the fact that he is in fact in go mode.
Could it be that he actually wants the Opal Cheerio?
Maybe. Jazz Raptors made it under the sea.
And still did not go pick up the white and black magic for his ninja and knight.
No, at this point, if he's going to do that, I imagine he'll do it just before going into Temple of Fiends Revisited. I don't think he's particularly scared of anything in the Sea Shrine.
Had some mandatory stake there.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of that in seeds that I've both been watching and playing, where it just happens that unrunnable rolls onto the Tyro. Oh, a +4 Bane Sword. Still probably not equipping it, but it does help if you decide to go on Bane strats.
Does the plus or minus actually matter for spells? Or
Not at all. Not at all.
Didn't think so. It would be kind of amazing if it did, though.
Yeah, that might be a little bit more complicated to try and program in. Jazz Raptor, or Cinema B looking a little lost, but I'm guessing he's trying to get to the sea at this point, since he just landed outside Provoca, which is on rack.
So now we have all 3 of our runners in the air, finally, at 1 hour, 25 minutes, and about 30 seconds.
Darren Dries crashing into the Melflin Castle. I'm going to translate the slab. Darren Dries going to be very, very upset when the slab doesn't lead to the chime.
And we finally get to see some calamari on the board.
Yep, Reese Wolf in chat, hoping that King Kai is going to get tentacled to death by the Kraken. Thief hitting out 3 swings, 190 damage. Kraken throwing out Dark, basically a free turn. While the Knight uses the Defense Sword, and now we're going full offense. We got a couple fighting, we got some nuke, Invis 2 from the Red Mage. Nuke hits for 352, big hit. 3 hits for 71 damage from the Fighter, 3 hits for 133 from the Thief. So it looks like Kraken is actually fairly absorb heavy, and the crits are where the damage is going to come from. Also, stunning the Fighter.
Yeah, Kraken with Stun Touch, I think. Also Sleep, because why not?
Yeah, why not? 4 hits, 255 damage from that Thief. Nuke comes out, 121. Kraken goes down. And with that, Jazz Raptor has his 4th orblet at 1 hour, 26 minutes, and 55 seconds.
1 minute? Wow, that is fast.
Yeah, Jazz Raptor's just been blitzing through this seed. It's amazing.
The question is, does he even bother getting magic at this point, since levels 2 and 3 are all over the dang place?
Well, it doesn't even look like he's bothering to check his items and make sure that his heal pots are topped up. Oh, he's got 94. That's probably good enough. And uses that tent to get his heal pots into proper position, and heads in a Temple of Fiends Revisit at 1 hour, 27 minutes, and 37 seconds.
This is a very bold move from him, not even bothering to pick up that level 1 life for his Knight, even though I don't know that the Knight even has any spell slots yet, does it?
It should, because he hit level 39 off of fighting the War Mech, which will give him a minimum of 1 slot.
Well, then again, I mean, 1 life cast is not gonna make a break, probably, maybe.
It could. It absolutely could. Like, if you go down to just Fighter, being able to get up 1 other character just to, get up the Black Mage to throw buffs on, or get up the Red Mage to throw buffs on, either way. You want a fast caster. Checking the validation chests, we got 2,000 gold and 2,000 more gold. Meanwhile, Cinema Bee taking on Kraken. Crabcakes in chat pointing out that while this fighter probably can solo Temple of Fiends Revisited, Lifecast would still be huge.
And also, we do have the alternative boss flag as a possibility. It's not definite, but it's possible that we won't see normal chaos.
Nope.
So we could see 8 garlands in a chaos.
Sure could.
I seem to remember that being a thing not that long ago with some 20 people running the same dang Uber Chaos seed.
Yeah, Crabcake's deciding that in the event that we run into an alternate final boss, it is likely that the fighter will have trouble soloing one of those, so that life cast does become a lot more mandatory.
I imagine that right now it might not feel that mandatory because you don't know if it's going to be just one chaos or a whole fustercluck of things. So this might just be a scouting mission. If he goes down, he goes down. Probably doesn't care. Also, there was a lich-shaped thing there for a minute. I didn't see anything amazing coming off that particular purple lich-shaped thing.
Lich 1 did more damage than Lich 2. Crabcakes, the fighter got such a high level because Jazzraptor went to Earth early, and in the Hall of Giants was the 3-eye tile.
And then just did a solo grind for about 15 minutes. But hey, carry 2. Casting lit 2.
Thief hitting 8 hits for 291 damage. Fasts go out. And we're going for Nuke and heal strats at this point. Nuke comes out, 204 damage. Heal 2, gonna rewind some of that damage done by Lit 2. 6 hits, 281 damage from the Thief, and 11 hits, carry goes down to the fighter.
Man, 2,000 years ago, these fiends were kind of weak.
Cinema Bee going ahead and doing some grinding before going to the sky on these third eyes.
That seems a little bit brave. If you're feeling at all behind, grinding at this point might not be the best, but at the same time, this isn't all about burst.
You got that required war mech, and I imagine that at the low 20s does not feel prepared for that.
There is that. But it's not all about first place for this race. Second place matters.
Caleb asking what boss percentages are. They could be 43% to 230%, or they could be clamped at 100 to 230%. Meanwhile, Jazzraptor coming up on Kraken 2. Getting set up with buffs. Let's see. Ooh, Kraken is dodgy today. Casting Fire 3, so we're going to get some lock going on Kraken while we temper up the fighters. Double lock strats to help with get rid of that dodge. Defense 2 to make sure that... Whoa! 982 damage. Say goodnight, Piccolo. Oh, and Kraken taking out the Black Mage as well, and the Red Mage, so we're down to just a solo fighter for the rest of this Temple of Fiends dive.
Wow, Kraken just not really caring about anything that
Nope.
Jazz Raptor set up.
Not at all, but Kraken finally goes down. Jazz Raptor having to dump a bunch of heal pots into that fighter.
Goku, you have to use the Dragon Balls to resurrect us.
The what?
You didn't bring the Dragon Balls?
What are those?
This has been your Final Fantasy Dragon Ball Theater.
Tiamat coming out with Rub. Not really a danger when we're equipped with a ribbon at this point. There's always a chance for a crit, but still unlikely. Caleb, he might have this, however, if we run into one of the alternate final bosses, it could still be disastrous for Jazz Raptor.
I'm kind of hoping for the carry mat fight.
With how nasty Warmech was, I'm kind of hoping for the double Warmech.
Wow, you just hate these runners, don't you? Also, hey, a stun fighter with no HP now.
Nope. Yeah, Tiamat doing some serious damage after that stun. Lit 2, fighter survives with 1 HP, Tiamat swings and misses, and oh my god, Jazz Raptor's fighter survives with just 1 hit point.
As we all know, the only hit point that matters is the last one. Jazz Raptor very effectively proving that point. Probably really regretting not having any life casts, though.
Absolutely. And now, Jazz Raptor about to pull our boss, and we'll see, is it Chaos? It is Garland, and it is 8 Garlands and a Chaos! That is the last thing you want to see when you're a solo fighter, and he immediately gets zapped to the 8th dimension and taken out!
Well, I think we're going to instantly see going back and buying life at some point here.
Actually, we're gonna go and check for some more gear and keylock chests from the look of it.
No, we're definitely going to find a ribbon back here if memory serves.
Crabcakes, I think the ribbon was probably left on that dead red mage. Oh wait, it looks like Jazz Raptor may not have found... Ah, there's the ribbon, okay.
We've only found 2 ribbons so far. One of them is right there in the Carnaria vaults, and the other one was in that fantastic chest down in Sea Shrine.
That's right, so this is Jazz Raptor's first ribbon.
But we've only seen 2 ribbons, so maybe that last ribbon is in the
Looks like Jazz Raptor
chest.
Finally remembering about white magic and trying to learn on the fighter. And learns life on the fighter. So now, at the very least, Jazz Raptor will be able to bring back someone who can, say, nuke down all of those Garlands.
I mean, not that it matters if he gets zapped into oblivion, but, I mean...
Well, he's got a ribbon now, so... with the fact that the Black Mage has the black shirt, which protects against time magic, and we have a ribbon on the fighter, we have 2 people who are likely not to get zapped.
Now, because you said that, 3 and 256 is going to happen twice.
I sure hope so.
The real evil here isn't chaos, it's the commentators.
The commentators are chaos. Ooh, Black Mirror. Meanwhile, Cinema B making their way up to the top of Sky, while Darren Dries is full clearing Volcano, which unfortunately we know is not going to pay off.
Do we know that, though? Because Jazzraptor just blitzed right on through Volcano. There could be another ribbon floating around in here somewhere.
It's not going to pay off with the progression of finding that chime.
Okay, fair enough. Once again, the loot you deserve, not the loot you need.
Pretty much. And Jazzraptor once again pulls Lich 2. Still going ahead and casting fast, because why not? You have 9 charges on each of your casters. Not that it matters. Fast comes out second, so Lich 2 is actually going to get to see a second round of combat. And Lich gets blitted.
So, hey, did we know those sorcerers that were unrunnable had cremate?
We did not know that those sorcerers who were unrunnable had cremate.
But now we know those sorcerers who are unrunnable have cremate.
Wow, I sure wouldn't want to run into a gigantic pack of unrunnable sorcerers who have cremate.
Well, in that case, you really don't want to be Cinema B, especially right in front of Warmac.
Well, luckily, I'm sure he's got plenty of heal pots to go ahead and recover from that. Meanwhile, Jazzraptor, once again, fighting Carry 2, throwing out fast on the fighter and the thief, or the ninja. Piccolo. And Carry disappears.
Was there a carry there? I didn't even notice.
There was rumors of a carry, at least.
I thought it was just a poster.
Cinema B checking armor and whatnot before taking on the Warmech. Little surprised that he hadn't already equipped that Aegis on his fighter.
You don't even see this much prep before walking into chaos.
Speaking of prep, we got some moving around of characters before pulling Kraken 2. Not surprising, considering how brutal Kraken 2 was earlier.
You know, I hate to say it, but I'd have probably left the fighter in the first slot. So Kraken with Cure 4.
I would definitely not have. Not with how hard Kraken was hitting. You do not want your best melee character getting one shot, which is absolutely possible with this Kraken if it chooses to swing first.
That's fair enough, but at the same time, Kraken still has Cure 4.
Yeah, at least it's right at the front of the spell table.
I'm not sure what fight to watch. We got Kraken 2 up top, Warmech on the bottom. We know Warmech is...
Punchy. Oh, Warmech's gone, though.
Oh, Warmech was there. With only one casualty, that's kind of better than Jazzraptor did.
All that setup paid off, and he has life, so that ninja's already back on their feet. Kraken being much more polite. It has not deleted a single character yet.
They just cast slow too.
I don't think it was on the fighter, though, so it doesn't matter too much.
I thought I saw the fighter flicker, but then again, that fighter's been flickering a lot between different colors.
Yeah, it flickers whenever a spell gets cast, whether it's on him or not.
There used to be a Piccolo there.
And this time we make it through Kraken 2 with 3 characters standing and 2 life charges so we can get the ninja back up. This is going much better than the first dive. Kraken was much kinder than the first run through.
Yeah, but we know how unfortunate that pack of Garlands and a Chaos can be. I seem to remember you were in that race where so many people were stonewalled by that thing, right?
I haven't been in any races, so...
No? Yeah, well, maybe you saw that race where, like, we had to have a good 5 streams going at once for all the people.
Oh, yes, that Irongol. Yeah, I was commentating on that. That was hilarious.
Yeah, that was a little bit unfortunate.
Yeah, we didn't get a chance to see how damaging that fight could be, but honestly, with having, you know, a nuke caster and some other AoE, I don't think it's going to be nearly as troublesome as it would be normally. Those Garlands are all gonna fall very quickly.
Yeah, but we know Garland likes to whip out Zap on the first turn.
That's true, but again, we do have time protection on both the fighter and the black mage, so sweeping them up is not going to be difficult. Tiamat attempts to rub out the black mage to no success.
Hey, what kind of problems we got going on Derendry's side there? Doesn't seem to be happening. Oh, never mind. Just took me saying something.
All that said, we have no idea if what Chaos actually is like, because Zap got thrown out, and that took out the fighter. So, that fight could still be real nasty.
And unfortunately, we're down to Goku and Trunks getting ready to hang out with
We still have one
Garland
life
brother.
charge, though, so we can bring someone else back to life.
Be honest with you, if it was me, I would wait until I was standing right in front of Chaos to use it.
Oh, absolutely. You don't want to run the risk of a random encounter taking someone out. And that's exactly what he does. Thinking hard, decides to go with the Black Mage. I agree with that decision a lot, because as I mentioned, you're very lacking in time protection, and with Zap coming out, you need as much time protection as you can get.
So I guess you could say he's running out of time.
He certainly is. Now, I would also probably put the Black Mage in the last spot and put the Red Mage up forward, simply because the Black Mage is more likely to survive the Zaps. Oh, it looks like we're going to go ahead and try and tank everything with the fighter and save both mages.
I'm not sure if I disagree with this or not, since the fighter does have that defense sword, he can ruse himself up pretty well.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And we do have one nuke left, which should hopefully take out most, if not all, of the Garlands. Oh, and Chaos running it right out with Thunder.
Chaos is scary. Let's throw that out there right now.
And yeah, one nuke takes out all the Garlands, so now we only have to worry about Chaos. We've already got Fast on the fighter, so we're going to start throwing some locks on Chaos to try and make sure that we can hit him. Black Mage goes down. And with how hard Chaos hit, we're going to go ahead and keep throwing out the defense sword. Blizzard comes out.
I'm not sure how much Chaos really wants to be punchy. There we go.
And we get 3 out of 256. Oh no.
So, called it.
And it looks like Jazz Raptor is going back to that third eye tile to grind a bit. This actually gives Cinema Bee a chance to spring into the lead.
I'll be honest with you, I don't disagree with this, because he's got to think that maybe he started out ahead for a while. He might have a little bit more time to fiddle around with, and he also knows exactly what everyone else has to go up against.
Honestly, I kind of do disagree with this play. You have to know that you were equipped with a ribbon. That was just extremely bad luck.
Yeah, at the same time, like, he keeps seeing all of his non-knight fighters get knocked down. Once again, keeping with the theme of Dragon Ball Z, everybody dies except Goku.
Yeah, Again, I still think that your fighter should have been able to take that out. You just ran into some bad luck. He didn't even get a chance to swing with his fighter's weapon to see how much damage he would do to Chaos.
Yeah, for all we know, that Chaos is made of tissue paper.
Exactly.
But I'm sure we will find that out relatively shortly. Even if Jazzraptor doesn't go back in an immediate sense, we do have Cinema B, who's in the general vicinity, getting ready to go down there.
Yep, absolutely. Gets through Lich 2 on the way to carry.
Or at least the poster of Carrie that happens to be standing there. Meanwhile, poor Derendrees is trying to land on Provoca up there.
Carry 2 for the first time on Cinema B's side.
If you're Cinema B, how much respect do you show Carrie at this point?
Well, he showed enough in that he decided to throw some buffs out on both of his melee fighters, but he's about to find out that Carrie's got no health.
Yeah, maybe a little more health than we want to get. Oh,
So it turns out that showing respect to Carrie is a mistake, because that gives her time to throw out damage poison.
Yeah, don't respect Carrie. Just go in hard and fast.
Yup. Luckily, he did learn life on his red wizard, so he's got plenty of charges.
Yeah, I like the learning life more than I do having that heal spell.
Yeah, for sure.
Also, you know, since Derendrees was just up there, can we talk about the fact that Provoca, a port town, is surrounded by mountains?
Yeah, they've got a whole fleet of submarines.
But how do they get past the mountains? They're like
They go
tunnels?
under them. Yeah, there are undersea caverns that they go through.
Okay, that makes exactly as much sense as everything else in this game.
Meanwhile, Derendrees making his way up through Sky.
How hard do you think Jazzraptor's gonna grind? I mean, what's his target at this point?
Hard to say, because, again, like, the grind isn't really what's going to get him through that. It's gonna be luck. Luck in that Kraken is polite. Speaking of Kraken, Cinema B at Kraken 2.
Do you think Cinema B has learned anything about being polite to these revisited fiends?
Well, Kraken you do have to show some respect to by getting out some defensive buffs. And Kraken has deleted a red mage.
Did I see 4 digits on that damage?
Probably. This Kraken is very punchy. And now we're working on lock strats, which makes sense. It's probably time to start swinging soon with that fighter. Five hits or 317 ain't bad.
And there's the Cure 4, undoing everything that just happened.
Yep. And you can see Cinema B getting angry. Deleting a black mage.
This is a little bit on the scary side. I'm I'm pretty sure it's gonna be pick up life on that night, but if not, this
Yeah,
could be
down to 2.
history repeating itself.
Ooh, that knight took a hit going down to 81. It's time to hold A and pray. Ooh, we got drink strats. Not sure I agree with that, considering how hard Kraken was hitting.
No, I can't agree with that at all, because Kraken's just gonna plow right through whatever that healed for. I think it healed for 19.
Exactly. But Kraken swinging and missing, the fighter swinging back. Looks like we might have Kraken in a lock right now. And Kraken is terminated, so as long as we have a life on this fighter, the whole party will be back standing in a moment.
Oh yeah, we got 4 life charges, that's fine.
Yep, which then gives us a whole bunch more life charges on that red mage.
Hey, we got Warmac on Derendry's side.
Which has deleted a black mage.
I mean, are we really surprised at this point?
Ooh, actually, Cinema Bee is running critically low on heal potions. Cinema Bee only having about 23 left.
That could be a problem.
Yeah, that could be a real big issue for trying to complete the Temple of Fiends on this dive.
They can't stop here, it's Wolf Country.
Yep, and the wolves ran away, giving 1 experience point to the whole party.
I hope everybody liked our robot chicken friend, because that's the last time we're going to see him today. Just remember, in Final Fantasy Randomizer, the chicken cooks you.
Indeed. And it looks like we just hit 30 on the Black Mage for Jazz Raptor. Not sure what he's trying to get up to at this point.
You don't suppose he's trying to hit 50 with the fighter, do you?
That seems excessive, considering that what's killing you has been instant death spells, and one of them was a critical.
Yeah, I can't imagine what might be going through his head right now. We'll have to remember to ask him.
30 on the Thief and 33 on the Red Mage, so...
I mean, it's like I said earlier, though, it's not just first place that matters. Second place also has at least neutral results. First place winner of this race will advance in the Irongol rankings. Second place is not going to move, I don't believe, and the third place will drop a rank.
That's correct. And Jazz Raptor finally done grinding for the moment. Throwing out mid-combat potions on that fighter. Now Tiamat throwing out Fire 3, swinging 208 damage from that red mage, good lord. And he manages to make it through Tiamat 2.
Meanwhile, 2,000 years in the future, Derendries has taken down Tiamat 1.
However, we're down to 5 heal pots for Cinema Bee.
And Jazz Raptor re-enters the Temple of Fiends. I believe this is his third trip 2,000 years in the past.
Using up the last of those heal pots to give the fighter as much health as possible.
And Cinema still doesn't know that this is Chaos and his 8 twin brothers. So, never know, it might be okay to have them this low, at least for a round.
Yep. Taking stock, attempting to fast up the fighter. Throwing out some Invis too.
You know, I just noticed that Red Wizard has Wall. That might be kind of useful.
Yeah, considering he's only got the one ribbon and doesn't even have the black shirt to get time resistance on his black mage.
Did one of those garlands actually survive a nuke?
Sure did.
This is the worst timeline. Also, Zap didn't do jack.
Much luckier than Jazz Raptor's been. Meanwhile, yeah, Chaos, not especially tough. He was already taking damage from those swings from the fighter. We're at Hold A and Pray at this point. Oh, wait, we're changing it up, and we're going to Power Bonk. And then swing some more. What do we got? 4 hits for some amount of damage. Chaos throwing out Lit 2. 7 hits, 380. 6 hits, 245. Chaos swings and misses. Chaos casting fast. That's scary. 6 hits. Chaos is deleted. Cinema Bee has killed Chaos.
And his official SRL time is 1 hour, 59 minutes, and 42 seconds.
Get your GGs out in the chat to Cinema Bee. Checking with Cinema Bee to see if he wants to come in for an interview.
So at the end of it all that grinding the Jazz Raptor did turn out to be his undoing. That's kind of unfortunate.
It do be like that sometimes.
People sometimes don't think it be like it is, but it do.
But it do. Meanwhile, Jazz Raptor, once again, on the Kraken floor from the look of it. Yep, setting up for Kraken.
Well, we know Kraken ain't lacking, but at the same time, neither of our remaining racers can relax at this point.
Not at all. Darren Dries taking on Lich.
I think this is going to be Lich 2 based on the background. We just kind of blinked and missed Lich 1.
Yeah, pretty much. No, I imagine that he killed Lich 1 a long time ago, back when he found his chime, which isn't marked off. We just kind of stopped tracking.
Well, shame on us. We should fix that. So, this is still technically a race.
Yep. Whoever comes in second will keep their current ranking in the Irongol Championship Series, whereas the loser will fall. Oof. 4 hits for 321 damage. Luckily, the red mage survives. Throwing out some more locks on Kraken to get it to stay put. Kraken swings and misses. You love to see it. Kraken swings and misses again. Fighter, 7 hits, 444 damage. Kraken's starting to come close to death, I would hope. And another 10 hits, 577, and oh, all that work undone with a Cure 4.
Oh, if I were Jazz Raptor, I would be fuming right now.
Yep, so we're starting fresh again. 510 damage on Kraken. Kraken slays the red mage with some fire. 8 hits, 431 damage. Another 10 hits for 444 damage. Kraken swings, does some damage to the fighter, but not a whole lot. 9 hits, 700 damage. Kraken goes down. Luckily, the fighter's going to have a full 4 charges of life, so it can bring everyone back.
The unfortunate thing is that means that not gonna have hardly anything for after Tia 2.
Nope, only gonna have one left depending on who Tia decides to eat. If Tia decides to eat.
That's kind of how it works, right? I mean, you bring Tia a snack and she lets you buy.
Something like that.
Also, Kraken 2 again.
Yep. Deletes a red mage up in the first slot. Hitting a Cure 4 nice and early for Darren Drees, so while rude, could be much ruder.
I kinda gotta wonder, maybe Kraken's just got that short of a spell list that it looped back around to Cure 4.
That's entirely possible that it happened to Jazz Raptor, I'm not sure.
Well, we're commentating, we should be paying more attention. Speaking of attention, attention is now divided since we got Kraken 2 over on the right, Tia 2 on the left again. And we are joined in the booth by Cinema Bee. Cinema Bee, GG, man.
Yeah, thanks. Can you hear me?
Sure can. You're a little quiet, but we can hear you.
Okay, well, fantastic. But yeah, I am super happy with the way that went. Given that I managed to win, I'm really surprised that I was ahead. I don't know how...
You weren't for a very long time. Jazz Raptor made the very early play. Right when he turned in his Ruby, he decided to check the first floor of Earth and he did a grind on the 3-eye tile over in the Hall of Giants, then found his floater and was in the air at like 25 minutes.
Wow, yeah.
Unfortunately, Chaos was extremely rude to him. He did his first dive into Temple of Fiends Revisited, got there with just his fighter alive, immediately went down to Zap. Then he picked up his ribbon from the Corneria locked chests, went back down, and got 3 out of 256 through the ribbon on his second try at Chaos.
Wow.
Yeah, so that being said, he was in there and fought Chaos twice before you entered the first time, I think.
Well, that's pretty wild.
Yeah, and then after that, he made the decision to go grind up even further on those eyes, and while he was grinding, you were able to get through and defeat Chaos.
Yeah, that was kind of a dicey situation, running out of heal pots after Tiamat. I was just kind of like, I've got the defense and the power bonk on the fighter, I'll heal him up and cross my fingers and go.
And it turns out that Chaos wasn't super defensive, so you were able to get through Chaos pretty quick.
Yeah. Ended up working out. I've actually never played with the alternate Chaos flag. If I was tri-state in this flag set, whether it would be normal Chaos or alternate, so I had no idea. I was just like, oh, okay, Chaos Garland.
Yeah, you paused for a moment. You seemed a little taken aback by the boss.
Well, I kind of forgot that it was tri-state up until that happened. So I was like, oh, right. I forgot to look up what the alternate fiends are. I have no idea what I'm up against.
Well, I mean, it could have been so much worse. There's one of them that's 2 war mechs and a few friends.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, I'm pretty sure, because when I got through Kraken is when I went to do my 3-eye grind. Because when I got through Kraken, at that point I was 99% sure that the bosses... Because we had tri-state, whether they were going to be 43 to 230 or 100 to 230. And after the first 3 Fiend fights, I was like, they've got to be clamped. So I was like, for War Mech, the fights in Topher, I need to get up to high 20. My plan was to get up to around 27, 28, and I stopped when my Ninja and Red Wizard got above 400 max HP. And then, but if I had bounced out of Topher, I was gonna go up to level 32 with them.
Seems perfectly reasonable, all things considered, but you didn't have to. You were able to clear it on your first try.
Yeah, I was super stoked with that. Especially realizing I did know that I didn't have any heal spells, and realizing man, heal pots are just not going to get me all the way through this. Hopefully I can make it. And Kraken was super rude, hit like a truck,
Absolutely, and had Cure 4 as well.
and
Also, Jazz Raptor has finished in second place with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 7 minutes, and 49 seconds. GG to Jazz Raptor.
Thank you, sir.
was yeah, that was quite the seed. I was really glad I did a practice this seed. The only difference being that instead of clamped being tri-state, it was force clamped, just so I could practice with it being clamped. And it was so much gnarlier than this seed was. Like, there was no early magic at all. I mean, this one, you didn't get to the early magic until later, but when you did, there was plenty of stuff in it. So it was a little different. But, like, just the practice with the different enemy formations and, like, being all over. Played a lot with this.
Absolutely. So, Jazz Raptor, how did you feel about that race?
Actually, I enjoyed the race quite a bit. I can say that I felt like I was ahead for some reason whenever I was getting to Topher for the first time. And then when I just bounced off a couple times, I figured I needed to either find a ribbon or go and level up some more, something. But ended up doing okay.
Yeah, so you were ahead. You bounced out of Topher for the second time before Cinema Bee entered Topher for the first time.
Yeah, that's kind of where I thought I was too. I was pretty lucky to have found that chime in Earth because I was freaking out for a second. I was like, wait a second, I thought I already saw that loose in Waterfall. And, well,
You know what? I almost missed that chime because when I was going through Earth, for some reason I thought I was in go mode. And then I hit that floor where the chime was and realized I wasn't and was like, oh man, I'm going to double check all those chests on the first couple floors of Earth. And then I started checking chests on that floor, and it was like the second chest I checked on that floor, and I was like, Providence favors the unwary.
And Darren Dries has taken out Chaos, finishing in third place with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 10 minutes, and 18 seconds. GG to Darren Dries.
GG, Darren.
Thank you. That was a fun race, guys.
Yeah,
it was really fun.
I think probably Jazz, the biggest difference is that I had that ribbon.
Yeah, so like maybe I'm wrong, but does Zap work through ribbons very easily?
Nope, you got 3 out of 256 on your second dive.
Twice, actually, on the first dive as well.
You didn't have it on the first dive.
Well,
you got it out of Corneria Castle before your second.
Well, that's wonderful.
Yeah, we only located 2 ribbons. One of them was in that funkin' chest.
Oh, man.
Where was the other ribbon?
TFC and then locked Corneria.
We have no idea where that third one was.
Yeah, I didn't go mode.
Yeah, at the time that I decided to go check the key locked areas, I was, I'd bounced out the first 2 times, so I was like, you know what, let's go and just see if we can find something quick. Maybe it will be helpful.
Totally, yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna be really excited to watch this race back, actually, because there were so many different things that people tried to do. The early part of the game was pretty straightforward because everyone got the ruby early, and that led us double in.
Yeah, did you guys find the eyes pretty quickly?
I did not find the eyes until I went to clear Earth later in the game, but I did check it right away and used it. It was in the Hall of Giants.
Didn't think I looked for a grind tail much.
So the eyes were on Earth, Hall of Giants area.
Yeah. No, because I did a practice seed of this last night. The real difference being is that I forced the clamp instead of it being tri-state on the bosses. And I was looking for a grind tile the whole time this run because I knew that there was a decent.
Yeah, I was debating that, but then I felt really behind. My early game was bad. I rerolled because I accidentally got healed too, and then realized life was going to be available on class promotion. So I was like 6 minutes in and went, oh shoot, I want to stop and save for life.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even know that until like I came back out for like a second time and decided to buy it.
What parties did
Y'all ran the same party.
you did? That's funny. We all went speed and power. When I saw the what was given to us, I was like, well, this is a party I run pretty frequently. Just fighter, mage, black mage. Sounds good.
Yeah, about halfway through, I was like, man, Thief Rainbow would have been really good because you would have had Fade and you would have had access to life too, but especially with the early tail. But then again, Floater, I didn't go to Earth until almost the very end.
I think finding that Mads Immune relatively early was what would have done it for me if we would have been able to reroll at that point. But obviously, that was not early enough.
But yeah, that was the seed that I ran last night was way more brutal in terms of just like all of the early areas had really nasty. It's like when I walked out of an area and I was like, did I select like the wrong like ROM for this? Like I'm expecting like Gasties right outside of Corneria, something.
Yeah, as far as the enemies go, I can't even think about if there was really a place that had kind of jerk enemies. Maybe Marsh.
Yeah, March was the red anklos, with like glare or some insta death thing were kind of annoying. Like I got wiped like 3 times trying to get the canal.
Hey, you guys never did run into like Death Touch or Stone Touch, I think, did you?
I don't think so, anyhow.
I had, I think it's, I might not have even seen like a stone hit when I didn't like reset out of it. I'm sure I saw. But yeah, that was But yeah, the other thing with the flag set that I played last night is there was only like Arm 4 and level 4 Fire 3, any type of spells, so it was just like hard getting any kind of traction. This one, it felt like it ran along at a pretty good time.
I mean, if you really want a torture seed, I'm sure I can roll you one later.
I'm good. This was a nice balance between like difficult and fun. So I really enjoyed it. Although the funny thing is, Jazz Raptor and Darren Dries, is I forgot about the Tri-State alternate flag. I didn't even look up what the alternate could be. So when I got to that fight, I was just like, oh, what do I do here?
Yeah, that's a fun one when you see the 8 garlands and a chaos, because there's always 8 of them that are just hitting you for nothing, and you have to hope you have a good sweeper just to take care of all the garlands.
Yeah, I know. I was, because I only had 1 HP. I ran out of heal potions for Kia 2, so I only had a 1 HP with nuke. But he got 2 nukes off in that fight before they killed him.
Yeah, my first time in through Chaos, I was a one-manning at that point in time. I'd almost died to Tia 2. I was like at 1 HP on my lone fighter. And then I healed up and whatever, and I went in there, and then there were 9 of them. So I mean, one against 9 didn't really do well, especially with Zap Happy Chaos.
But yeah, quite the Irongol extravaganza here.
Yeah, I think the first community race I did was bracket seeds, and at that point, that was a couple months ago, and that seemed like the hardest thing that I would ever play. But this makes brackets look a little bit nicer.
Yeah, when
More streamlined for sure.
But with the encounters being all over the place and like not knowing like, because like with this type of flag set, like you don't know like Marsh could be worse than Topher. So especially in the early game, a lot of trouble getting, call it like just getting going with anything. You end up everything's killing.
Yeah, it was nice getting gargoyles and Topher.
Yeah, totally. The upside of these flags is that the late game tends to be a lot easier. You're subbing in like ogre.
I mean, hey, there were also wolves on Tia 2's floor, so.
But yeah, Yeah, this was a lot of fun. Crazy flag set. This is one of the more wild like flag sets, definitely that I've played similarly wild. I was really glad that I put in. Got me.
So, how did you like the sprites, Dr. Funkin?
Oh, they were great. That was a lot. I enjoyed seeing them. Though you got to remember to turn on the. You got to remember to turn on the in the fun percent. There's a thing to turn on the third battle palette so that Goku doesn't keep changing.
Oh, good, good. See, I didn't know how to do that. Good.
Yeah, we kept thinking he turned to stone.
or disappeared for like a second.
So yeah, that third battle palette option under fun percent should help prevent that from happening.
Cool, thanks.
Well, any final thoughts from you three?
Oh, no, I think that's everything I've got to say. Thanks for the Jazz. Did you put this challenge together?
Now this was Darren. Darren did the challenge for us.
Yeah, you were the we can't be tied at 25, right?
Yeah, I didn't want that tie. I was hoping to really take the spot for myself, but good job to both of you guys. And I might put something together later, and we might race each other again in a couple weeks here.
Yeah, that sounds good.
I like that idea. Yeah, thanks. It's been a really nice Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, really enjoyed it. And thanks for everybody who did commentary and did tracking, put this all together. It's always awesome.
And thank you all for racing for our entertainment. Please remember to follow your runners, follow your restreamer, follow your commentators, and also follow Randomania. Thank you so much, and I hope you all have a wonderful evening.